Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This video, this reading is specifically for men because somehow that deck was talking to me and I pulled a card to lead the whole message. So that man is, not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, Sudodana. And the message is to show up as a resource or a source of emotional support for others. Relinquish emotional responsibility and step into holding space for the benefit of yourself and others. And his story is about protecting the little Buddha and basically kind of locking him in the castle and saving him from everything and sheltering him, not so much sheltering him from human suffering, which actually led to him escaping and going through that suffering because um, it just gives the perspective and in the duality of things, the scale of how great his life was and how great his life can be when knowing both of them. So the message is that, especially for a first-time dad, who is watching nervously on his baby as the baby takes the first steps and is concerned and wants to protect the baby from everybody and everything and all the stumbles and falls that may occur. And if you think about the baby grows up and it becomes a man and you have your grandson, then you will not be that worried as you've been as a father, because by the time you learned that they have to go and stumble through their own difficulties, and that's how we'll all learn. And this this is for someone who is really giving a lot to others but also protecting them in a way that might not serve them. And depending on your life path, those people need certain experiences to be the catalyst of their own wisdom, their own life, their own growth. And if you can trust that their life is designed to be the best for them, which might not be the best for you, then you can have a little more peace in letting them go into the world. And the best way it says that the best way to become a holder of space for another person's hard times is to face your shadow. So probably there is something why you want to protect them or from what you want to exactly protect them. So if you look into that, into your own shadow that makes you fearful, then find it and sit with it for a moment and remember who you are. That's the other card that it says that remember who you were before you experienced that and who you are now that you experienced that. And you might understand it easier that they need to experience their own life. And when you become sufficient at facing your darkness and sitting in discomfort, you can comfortably do the same for another without feeling drained. And that's the best because you are there for them and you are not drained either. So many times people give what they think the others need or should have or want, but we are not necessarily considerate enough of what do they really need, what is that they are looking for, what is that they are searching for, what is their life determined to be. So knowing that periods of darkness and difficulty serve a purpose in the bigger picture, you can help yeah, the purpose that can help you not to run from your own and other people's shadows. So it's basically that rule of like just being there for someone else. Just being is enough. You don't necessarily need to protect or take their sufferings. They can take it. They have shoulders like you do. And strive towards emotional support rather than emotional responsibility. So yeah, that's a difference, when you give the right support or when you really just take all the responsibility onto yourself. And how you show up will show a role model for others as well, and also will help them transform their way. And you will no longer feel drained or feel a desire to control. So it's a beautiful message for anybody, not only men. But I asked these card decks to come for a man right now to tell us something. If you are listening and you are a man or your partner, is a man and you recognize him in this one, then it might be for him. So the other one was the remember who you are, which I already mentioned, that it's really important to step into your true self, and all your experiences combined will give you the answers. And here you go, another one, to surrender. It's a nice surrendering to your own self, to your own being, and surrender for others' sake. It's not sacrifice, it is surrender. There's a big difference. You don't need to sacrifice anything. You just surrender so that you smoothen up the energy flow between you as well. You don't need to have that conflict necessarily. Just let them be themselves. Someone you're limiting right now because you're over controlling. And then the other one, the other two actually, the chanda, is movement and dependency. I think it says that you need to move away, or that person will move away from that dependency. So it might be that you have a teenager or an almost adult who is moving out of your house, or who is moving away for studies, or just moving away from you because it's too much, it's suffocating, and they don't want to depend, and it's time, it's just simply time. And it also tells me the movement for you might be good, so that maybe you need to move out of this environment. If you see, this bird's eye perspective, let's say, from the top, so you see the big picture, then it comes you as well as everyone else around you. Then let's see, what would be the best advice? What could help? There are three things: preservation, tending, and the moth. Hmm, interesting. One is about security, forethought, thrift, maintenance, encouragement, and guidance, mystery, concealment, illusion. Ah, this is really beautiful. You know how the moth just hides and then they become their fully adult bodies. There are things that happening inside everyone that can represent you, and that can represent that child as well. It might not be a child. You might be mentoring someone, and that is that kind of relationship where you have to be the adult. You thought that you are responsible for everything, but no. There is this mystery and illusion in it, because yes, that might be, it might look like a child, but things might have changed. It might have grown up, and now it's equal. It's like you. Yes, it doesn't have the same experience, it will never do, but it is as grown up as you are in many ways. Although it needs tending, so your maintenance, encouragement, and guidance is what's necessary. So it's a way kinder approach to help somebody than telling them and controlling them, and like suffocating them or closing them down. If you just give guidance, they either listen or not, but it's none of your business anymore. You gave your guidance, let them. Let them digest it, let them remember, let them live it or not. And then preserve. It's about security and forethought and thrift. What comes to me is that you would like to preserve something that represents value for you. This is quite natural, quite normal. It can be even noble, that you want the good to live on. And many times we want that in our children, or our students, or mentees, or whatever situation you are, where you feel like you are that kind of parent figure in a relationship, and you want that security. But sometimes it's not necessarily up to you what the other person wants to preserve. So you can find, there can be big jars, but both of you are putting there, let's say, the same values, the same fruit, and then you can preserve. And sometimes you will have something to preserve, and that person will have something to preserve. So we have to accept that we are all different, and that makes life so beautiful. Just imagine the gems, when you have apricot, when you have berry, where you have whatever, not rum, peaches. That is that versatile and representing the choices and the decisions of life. So it doesn't mean that they are not preserving anything. It means they are preserving something different, maybe something the same as well as something different from your values. Really, really nice. Let's give a practical advice for this person who is in the middle of kind of growing up into the next level of that parenting, that next level of that mentorship, the next level of teaching. You are moving up. Definitely, it's time. And you don't want to lose the connection. You would like to strengthen. What can a person do to strengthen the connection? Oy, oy, oy. One is to listen closely. Yes, as the science, like just being there. And it also talks about that your body is calling for attention. There might be something that is already showing signs that something's wrong in your body, something you had accidents, you had illnesses, sicknesses, and the flow is broken. So listen closely, especially to your own body. Where is that coming from? The other one, the heart's treasure chest. And this one is kind of like another step in teaching because it says that when you open up your treasured heart and share your riches with the world, then equally you can allow yourself to receive. So many times when we are parents and we are teachers, we feel like it's a duty to give that knowledge to that we collected through our knowledge, through our experience, through our understanding, but we forget to listen. We forget to be equal and receive. So it's not passive, it's actively receiving feedback, actively receiving other people's teaching. Because if you are a teacher or a parent, your child is there to teach you something. They didn't born just to be. They born with a purpose. So there is something like look into them. What can I learn from them? Even if it's not the typical traditional way, don't be bothered. What can this baby teach me? Can it teach me like different kindness, the unconditional love, you know, the happiness of the moment? Even babies can teach you so much. And if you listen closely, the more you listen, the more you will learn. And the third one is intuition. So listen to yourself. What does your intuition say? And I asked, what is the, a card that helps how to move on in a practical way? And it says to know what to do next, trust and listen to the signals. Send through your human vessel from higher guidance. It's exactly like this, saying the human vessel is your body. So listen to that. When your heart says, oh, it's not the way it should go, then don't go that way. Then stop. Even if you just stop and not repeating the old patterns is better, and your heart will feel better than if you don't even stop and just repeat the same mistakes or the same patterns and never learn and never receive. If you just stop, you can receive. Yeah, in order for receiving, you need to really step in onto the other side. Okay, I stop teaching for a moment or a day or a week or something. That's a beautiful message for really these people who are our guides, who are our teachers, who are our beloved ones, basically, to step up to the next level and become more. Let's see which spirit this person should listen to was. The answer is the canary. Sing your own song. That's beautiful. So when you think about any kind of teacher, thinking about Bruce Lee came to mind. Any kind of teacher who learned something and started to teach it, let it be martial art, let it be any other arts, let it be science, they usually have their own methods. Even about any spirituality, you can find people are setting up their own processes, their own methods. Probably it's time for you to define it. Maybe you haven't defined it yet. So when you start singing your own song, that means you are working out your own method that might help others to learn those things that you have learned already and seeing it from a different perspective. And that is the message for the longer term. Because if you sing your own song, those who resonated with, they will listen. And in those eyes, you will be that king, of like, oh, he knows something. This is true. This is real. This is coming from the heart. What was that? The heart. So be true to your heart. Even if it says something completely different than what society accepts at the moment, it might be useful for someone. Maybe later, there were many scientists who were not acknowledged at that times, but only later society understood what they were talking about. Same with artists. And I think it's your time to define your next level, who you are, or who you were, and who you want to be, and merge them into one, align it into one, and you will have your own method. This is for you, dear man, whoever is listening. And the cards were wanted, they just came and said, we want to talk to you. So I hope it helped and good luck with it. Bye.